Okay, for this make and take, we call this mini calendar for the year 2011, and it's going to be designed to open up like this. 2011 is the year of the rabbit, and when we put it down, it'll stand up. So we're going to show you how to put this together. Basically, start off with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. In this case, we're using Whirlwind, which is double-sided, two-toned, and we're just going to score this in half at 6 inches and fold that in half. We're going to use nestabilities to do the cut on this, and just so you can see, we wanted to leave a joint mark at the fold line. So we're just going to line it up kind of like this, and I'm using double stick tape here, or rather removable tape, so that will press and hold it when I flip it over. And we're going to use that on a big shot and crank this through. Now because we're going through 2 layers, I'm going to actually want to go and back this up and go one more time through there to make sure it cuts all the way through. Okay, so this is our base, and this opens up this way now. We're going to make one more score mark right down the middle of this. So I'm lining across one whole track and scoring this way. And fold this back in half. So that's the base of our card already. Okay. Now we take one 4x4, and I'm going to ink this up with a black ink. This is a Japanese maple by Penny Black Company. I'm just going to ink this all up. And because we're going to cut this so it's kind of the diagonal, I want to position my stamp so that it'll start off in the corner of my square. So thinking of it coming up this way, I want my branches kind of drooping down this way here. So I'll just stamp that on. And that's our design. Because we're going to have a little bit of an opening there, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a little bit more just in that corner. And stamp more of these this way. And that's why I have this paper behind, so it'll help cover the overstamp. We're going to switch to one size smaller for our template. If I can find where we put it. Okay, so this is from the same set of scallop squares, one size smaller. I'm going to position it so I get this area for it to in the cut. Again, our removable tape will hold the template in place in relationship to our design. Flip this upside down, cover it one more time, and just cut that through. And that's going to get glued right on top of there. Okay, while we're also doing our stamping and cranking, what I did is for the year of the rabbit, I took one of these circle stampers and this little alphabet set. We can actually take out little letterings and typeset our own stamp. So in this set we have multiple sets of A through Z. When you position it in here, it actually will fit into the groove so that your little piece will stay there. So this comes out and stays in the groove. So we can basically have it say whatever we want it to say. In this case, you have to spell or recognize that the lettering is all backwards or in reverse, so when we stamp, it'll be right side. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And kind of stamp right there. So we have the Year of the Rabbit 2011. And taking our circle die, positioning it, it fits quite well in here. Oops, I'm saving paper from this stamp. And wind that through. And that will go on the inside of our project. The other stamp that we want to use is this rabbit stamp from a new company that we just picked up. This is actually a design out of Canada. And I want to stamp this rabbit twice because we're going to cut it in sections and actually pop up the head and pop up one of the rear legs. Okay. And I'm going to pause while we take the time to cut this out now. Okay, so I've cut out one of the rabbits that we stamped out earlier. And from the second image, I want to cut out the head separate. And what I'm just finishing up now is cutting out the rear leg separately also. And you notice over here, the black line stopped, so I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where we would continue that line. And I'm just going to cut out the legs, so I'm also going to take off the extra tail here. And what we want to do is now color in a little bit. This rabbit's basically white, so we don't have to do too much pen work here. So we're just going to discard the rest of this. Just going to use some poppet pens. This one here is the V04 Lilac. Just going to give him a little purple heart since that's part of the detail on this rabbit. And use RV02 Sugared Almond Pink just for the inner parts of his ears. And to add a little bit of dimension to our project, oh, one thing I forgot. Where this line left off, I'm just going to use a black pen and add in that so it won't be distracting. And I forgot, I colored the wrong part of the leg since this is going to go above. So we actually want it on the piece that we cut out. Okay. We're using double set foam. I like to use the 1/16 inch. It's not that much of a raise, just a little bit for a little bit of dimension. And we don't need to use a whole lot. So 2 little squares should be fine. And just line this up on top of our other rabbit, or the full rabbit, so that the leg and foot can be raised. And I'm going to add a few more for the head portion. I think 4 should do it for this one. And remove our backings again. Okay, so now we can disassemble all of this. When we attach our green piece, we want to have it kind of aligned for the scallops here. Just remember, you don't want to put any adhesive past the halfway mark over here, so it won't hold their project closed. I think I'm going to switch to using glue instead for this part. And this is the Tumble Multi-Mono. Again, I'm trying to stay above the halfway mark for this. Double stick tape would work, but this is easier to get a little bit more adhesion up into the scallop areas. And just want to line this up again here and kind of centered. Okay. For Year of the Rabbit, again, you can either use glue or tape. And this is just going to get in the upper portion of our background here and just kind of center that also. It won't be viewed once we stand up our calendar. It's just there for part of identification of the year and the theme. For the rabbit itself, again, we're going to pop it up so it won't be flat flush against the backing or the back of the card. And we're going to try to plan it so that this, this portion right here, the little V, will be holding our calendar in place. And maybe we should actually add our calendar first. So let me just go ahead and do that part. We cut a little gold backing, just slightly bigger than our calendar. They're 5" tack. And this already has double stick tape. So you just cut this piece of gold just about a 1/16 of an inch around the edge, bigger than the calendar itself. And a couple pieces of double stick tape to hold that in place. Now, one thing I like to do when I position something is I like to only partially release the double stick tape. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out or fold over a corner. Do the same thing on this piece. This way, if positioning is critical, we can kind of get it just right before you think it's in line. And I'm looking at the little indentations here to make sure it's about straight. Then I press down the corners that are exposed and then just go and pull this little tab out to release the rest of it. And that way we can make sure that we have something pretty straight. Okay, so back to positioning our rabbit. We want this little V between the body and the head to be holding this in place. So we're going to kind of position him at an angle here. Maybe a little bit higher. So about there. And when it's closed, it'll be like this. And open again. Okay, so that's it.